Russia gas supply to Europe via Ukraine has been halted effectively from the 1st of January. Now, for those of you who don't understand, Russia supplies gas to Europe. It's been doing that since the 1970s. And many European countries have benefited from the Russian gas, especially Germany, that was one of the biggest buyers, and many other European countries. La, 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 la. Yeah. What's up, my people? I hope you're doing good. It's a good mood. Good mood. Good mood. Thank you very much for being here. This is cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper, you know cayenne pepper? You need to investigate about cayenne pepper. I take cayenne pepper every single day. Yeah, before I drink or eat anything. Trust me, brother, if you have any problems, any issue, any whatever, I don't care how hard it is, unless you have a broken bone or something. This is going to help you. For me, it's just supplements, preventing but I'm telling you, this cayenne pepper is going to help you. Do your own research, okay? Doesn't taste the nicest? It actually burns, but yeah, you definitely need it. And also cut out some of the trash that you eat every day. You know, concentrated food, dairy, too much meat, pork. Why do you eat pork? Anyway, what's up, everybody? I hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. It's a brand new year. We're loving it out here. Sorry, there's noise outside. It's the garden. I hope you don't pick that up too much. My name is Zach. I know some of you don't know who I am, but hey, if you stay here long enough, we're gonna love each other. No doubt about that. Here we talk about most of the things. We talk about Africa. We talk about things on the continent. We talk about issues in every country when we can. We speak about Zambia. We talk about Nigeria. We talk about South Africa. We will bash on Zimbabwe. We will bash on Rwanda. We will bash on Kenya with the goal of bringing everybody together so we can move forward. Thank you very much. I see you from Wagwan Me Boss, Jamaica, United States of America. You're welcome. You are at the place you're supposed to be. Thank you. Ukraine has shut down the pipelines going from Russia to Europe. These pipelines supplied gas to European countries. We're going to find out what does this mean. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why are we talking about Ukraine? Right? I'll tell you what. What's happening in Russia is very important to you. You maybe don't know it. But if you do not care about politics, international politics, I'm saying, international politics is going to make a decision for your life. So remember, life is not just about where you live, your little hometown. It's not. Life is all on its own. It's a combination of things that come together. There is no way you can separate anymore. So why are we talking about Ukraine and Russia today? Because the Ukrainians have their narrative that subdues Russia. The Russia have their own narrative that puts Russia above. So we need to have our own narrative from reading from what's happening with Europe and Ukraine and Russia and see for ourselves. Okay, that's why we're here. Russia gas supply to Europe via Ukraine has been halted effectively from the 1st of January. Now, for those of you who don't understand, Russia supplies gas to Europe. It's been doing that since the 1970s. And many European countries have benefited from the Russian gas, especially Germany, that was one of the biggest buyers, and many other European countries. Natural gas has a wide range of use, making it a crucial energy source. A major use of natural gas is in the power plants to generate electricity. It's a cleaner burning fossil fuel compared to coal, so they use gas to create electricity. Natural gas is also used for cooking. You know, in many homes and businesses, natural gas is used for heating and hot water. So you need natural gas, especially if you live in Europe or in a country where there's winter and stuff. Oh, by the way, you know, some countries in Africa have no winter. Do you know that? They don't experience cold like that. Yeah, you go to Kenya, for instance. I know Kenya is kind of cold. Kenyans will say it's cold. But have you been to Moscow? Or have you been to a Scandinavian country? Yeah. So Ugandans don't experience cold like that. Or Ghanaians. It's hot all year long because they have two seasons. It's the rainy season and the hot season. It's not winter, summer, springs, or whatever you autumn. None of that. It's only two seasons. It's the rainy season and the hot season. Anyway, let's continue. Natural gas is used in various industrial processes, including manufacturing fertilizers, plastic, and other chemicals. So the gas is very important for industry. The gas is also necessary for transportation. While less common than gasoline and diesel, natural gas can fuel vehicles, particularly heavy-duty trucks and buses. So that's a little bit, fellas, what the gas is used for. As you would know, European countries are industrialized countries, so they would definitely need gas to be running appropriately. Now, this specific part, we went from Russia through Ukraine to Europe and supplied gas to some European countries. Ukraine has finally decided to shut it off. Before the war in Ukraine, Europe supplied its gas from Russia. About 40% of European gas came from Russia, so Russia made big amount of money from that. Now they put a lot of pressure on European countries to stop relying on Russia because they felt like Russia was not a reliable partner, or it was giving Russia a leverage over Europe's decision to go to war against Russia, especially Germany, because that was not being respected. That is the reason why Nord Stream pipeline was bombed by who you probably know who they are. They bombed that pipeline to disable Germany from being dependent on Russian gas because Germany could not make the decision because they expected gas to come from Russia. Now, some European countries are not happy about this. They're very angry at Zelensky, especially the Slovakian president, because the gas that goes through Ukraine supplies mainly Slovakia. And Slovakia will be losing 500 million euros because it also distributes gas from its country to other countries. Now that Zelensky has decided to shut down the pipeline by not renewing the contract with the Russian company, the Slovakians will be the first to suffer from it. Now the Slovakian president has reacted. President Fico says he's going to shut down electricity he's providing to Ukraine.
As we see these days when the transit of gas through Ukraine is stopped, which will have drastic impacts on all of us in the European Union, but not on the Russian Federation.
You know, Ukraine is being bombed by Russia, especially the energy system has been bombed drastically by Russia. And Ukraine is getting electricity from other countries. Now, Slovakia has said we're going to shut down our electricity to Ukraine. And number two, Slovakia has said we're not going to provide the help that we're giving to Ukrainian refugees that are in our country. There is about 130,000 Ukrainian refugees in Slovakia right now, and about 6 million refugees from Ukraine in the war. Slovakia said if you refuse to allow Russian gas through your country to come to our country, we are going, number one, to shut the electricity we're giving you. Number two, we are not going to support your refugees in our country anymore. So are they going to starve them? We don't know. Ukraine President Zelensky said that the US President Donald Trump could be decisive in the outcome of the war with Russia. He can be decisive in this war. He is capable of stopping Russian president. To put it more fairly, help us stop Putin. He's able to do so. So, fellas, that's what it is. Russia makes its money through petroleum and gas. It sells to other countries because they have a lot of it. Right now, since Europe has refused to buy or reduced drastically the amount of petroleum they're getting from Russia, Russia has been selling most of its petroleum to India and China. That's where they're getting most of the money to do war. European countries decided a few years ago to rely less and less on Russian gas. Now, alternatively, they got gas coming from Norway, from Algeria, liquefied gas coming from the United States of America, even though it's more expensive. But they've done everything they can to reduce the dependency on Russian gas from 40% to 9% right now. So the Russians are suffering somewhat, okay, financially at least, because they're only now selling the gas to China, India, and some small European countries such as Moldova, Hungary, and Slovakia. So Zelensky's strategy is to shut down that as well, to completely stop the finances from coming into Russia. This is important to you because apparently Mr. Vladimir Putin is the friend of Africans. And he never did war against Africans. He never came to Africa trying to take over any country and annex it to Russia, unlike European countries. So therefore, many Africans tend to turn to Putin, saying Putin is a nice person because, you know, he just wants you to be fair. And he doesn't want to come to your country and tell you how to run your country, tell you who to respect, who should marry who. You know, you can just do your own things, provided that you're respectful and you exchange appropriately. And it's very necessary because many African nations refuse to vote against Russia in the United Nations because they have historically known Russia as an oppressor in their countries. And I think it's very necessary we understand what's happening. Now, does this give Russia the right to go into Ukraine and destroy lives? Absolutely not. What are the reasons Russia is in Ukraine? Well, Russia believes it's in Ukraine because Europeans betrayed them. On the contract they signed in Berlin, that contract says if the Russians allowed Berlin to be one in all, because East Berlin back in time was divided in two. One part was communist and the west part was capitalist like Europeans. They told the Russians, if you allow the entire Berlin to come together, to break the wall, because there used to be a wall between Berlin, yes, a massive wall that separates and cuts the city into two parts. They said, if you drop the wall and you allow the city to be one city, we as NATO will not move 1 inch to the right. And unfortunately, as per the Russians, as years went by, year after year, NATO continued recruiting different countries until they came next to Ukraine. And that is when the Russians say, enough is enough. We are going to war or we are taking over Ukraine. Do you think that's justified? I don't know. Let me know how you feel about this. It was a great pleasure. God bless.